This may be way too early, but I mean, everybody's going to anticipate it. Shakur beating Frank Martin, Tank stopping Pitbull Cruz, and the unification fight for the super fight. And people are going to say, man, Shakur, his boxing skills is just too much. Like, Tank ain't going to be able to hit him. He ain't going to be able to catch him. Or not with nothing clean. Because Shakur is perfect. His defense is perfect. See, the thing is, when you see these guys fight, you got to understand who's in front of them and what they bring to the table and how that's going to make them fight a certain way. When Shakur is fighting these guys that are orthodox, most of the time he's trying to get on that outside foot so he can be the one to dictate when he gets in and when he gets out. He's going to want to keep that distance and make sure that he's the one in control of the distance. When I want to get inside and throw some punches, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get right back out when I want to. You're not going to be able to dictate that. Looking at Shakur's fights, I mean, I haven't watched all of his fights, but I was just trying to find like the championship fights, the fights that you're going to see somebody that's going to be more than likely competitive. And a lot of the times the guys were just not enough reach, good skill, but not enough quickness, good quickness, but not enough IQ. And I came to the Oscar Valdez fight. I'm just noticing, I noticed the same thing. But what I know from a fighter like Shakur is that he prides himself on seeing everything coming. He prides himself on being that slick guy that can stay in the pocket, see what you got coming, block it, parry it, dodge it all together, and then come back with a counter. But the way you get those guys is very simple. You got to throw more than one punch, and they got to be fast enough. You know what I'm saying? They can't be doof, doof. It got to be doo doo, doo doo. It got to be quick combination punches. Like, look at the way Tank fought Hector Garcia. Like around round 4 and moving up, you would see, those kind of two, 3 punch combinations that come quick. Because he's going to be able to catch one of them, but he can't catch all of them. He's going to see it coming. So I'm not saying he's going to get stopped, but he's going to get caught because you can't catch everything. And if somebody is throwing combinations at you and you're not known to be somebody that when they counter can hurt you, they're going to be doing that to you all night. It's just that those guys that Shakur was fighting with in the previous, all the Valdez, I don't give a damn hearing. I mean, you can name them. Anybody that Shakur has fought to date, he's been able to manage that distance. He's been able to manage that distance. He's been able to, be the quicker guy. He's been able to have the longer reach. So now he's going to be fighting Frank Martin. And the reason I'm bringing that comparison up because we all see the comparison between Frank Martin and Tank as far as them being southpaw, as far as them being boxer punches. Tank on the higher level, but Frank Martin is a poor man's Tank in this situation. So I want to be able to see how Shakur is going to handle someone that is fast and is going to throw punches in combos if his coach is smart, which I believe he is, and be able to take that second shot. Because he hasn't been known to be like a Terrence Crawford that you can't come at Terrence Crawford like that. Terrence Crawford is a counter puncher. He's going to sit back and let you come because if you try to attack him like that, he's going to throw something from an angle that make you wake up after the fight. So you got to be careful. Shakur doesn't have that kind of effect. We haven't seen it. So Tank has already revealed how he's going to fight guys like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. He's already revealed that because he got an interview once. I don't know. I think it's the guy from Combat Sports or whatever the guy's name. He tells the guy that he's going to get right to it.
Why? You think Shakur is better?
No, I'm just saying, like, not even Shakur. I'm just saying, like, them as a whole. Like, it'd be different. Like, fighting them, it'd be more so like coming to get them.
You would approach it differently.
Yeah.
The Leo Santa Cruz fight. When he knows that even though Leo Santa Cruz is a guy that has stopped people, he stops them with volume. He's not stopping them with one shot. So he's going to come right at him. Look at how he fought him. From the round 1, he was up in his face. He was up in his face, putting that pressure on his ass. You didn't see that a lot of times from the fights after that because he's dealing with punchers, Pitbull Cruz, Rolly, Ryan Garcia. Guys that if you try to come at them like that, they can catch you with something crazy and change the whole fight for you, change your whole career. He fought Hector Garcia that way. Got up in his grill. Even though Hector Garcia has stopped some people, it's not to the level to where you're afraid to stay in the pocket with him or anything. So, just look at those two fights and then look at that interview, and you would get a picture, an idea of how Tank is going to approach that Shakur Stevenson or even a future Devin Haney fight. But in this case, he's going to be in Shakur's face throwing 2-3 punch combinations for 12 rounds. We see Leo Santa Cruz lasted for 6. We see that Hector Garcia, and people are saying, oh, Leo Santa Cruz was landing some shots. Leo Santa Cruz was beating him up. Leo Santa Cruz was touching him. He lasted 6 rounds. You know it's a 12-round fight, right? So all that shit that he was doing matters nothing. The same with Hector Garcia. He was looking good, wasn't he? You seen Russell, which one of them? Antoine Russell, one of them Russells, was in the audience saying, hey, man, them shots that he letting him hit him with, like, I would never. Like, he was like, Tank, he was looking at it like, I go in there and watch Tank based on what he was seeing, but how many rounds did he last? He was out of there before the championship rounds. So if the man is actually in your grill and fighting you, nose to nose, you may look good, but you're not going to last. And Shakur Stevenson has shown you that he's so much of a natural. He's like water. He's going to adapt to whatever you bring. So there's no real idea of how Shakur is going to attack the fight. The only worry that I have with Shakur with that kind of style is because when you bring that style to the table, like a Terrence Crawford, I'm going to adapt to whatever happens. You got to have that power. That's why Terrence Crawford is who he is and where he is, because he's like water, but then he actually strikes back. He's like a big wave, slap you across your face. Like the feeling of a belly flop from a 30 feet fall. Like it's gonna hurt. You know what I mean? So you gotta have that power. Shakur doesn't have that dimension, but I want to see how he handles Frank Martin. So that's my take. In my early predictions, I would say I would go with Tank because of the power, because boxing is a pain sport. You have to administer pain. If you have a game plan and you're not bringing pain, and the other person is, there's a chance that something that you didn't plan for could happen. So when I'm looking at that fight, I'm just going with the guy that can administer pain. I got to see how Shakur reacts to these fights to know. Shakur spars with Terrence Crawford, which in my opinion is the best preparation for a Tank. You got power, you got skill, you got IQ, you got animal instinct. But then the only dimension that you're missing is the fact that you got headgear, the fact that you got 12-ounce gloves, and the fact that you got a Terrence Crawford that might not be wanting to knock his head off. I don't know what they're doing in that camp. I ain't there. But I would believe that Terrence Crawford is not going in there putting everything behind every punch. So that pain factor is missing. That shit changes the fight. So we'll see. That's my hot take.